Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have an uncanny ability to sway others to their will? It's not magic, it's psychological manipulation. A complex art comprised of 13 laws. Psychological manipulation isn't just a tool used by chess players, cunning colleagues, or freeloading friends. It's a pervasive element in our everyday lives. It's the clever advertisement that convinces you to buy a product you don't need. It's the politician who uses emotive language to sway public opinion. It's the charismatic leader who inspires devotion in their followers. It's even the parent who uses guilt to control their child's behavior. In essence, manipulation is all around us. It's woven into the fabric of our social interactions, our media, our politics, and our relationships. This makes it all the more important to understand it, not just to resist being manipulated ourselves, but to ensure we're not unconsciously manipulating others. Next, we'll delve into the subtle art of lying and concealing true intentions, a cornerstone in the manipulator's toolbox. Between the pervasiveness of psychological manipulation and the art of lying and concealing true intentions, there lies a comprehensive framework that governs this complex system. This framework is composed of 13 laws that elucidate the multifaceted nature of psychological manipulation. These laws are like the underlying rules of a complex game, each one shedding light on a different aspect of manipulation. They range from the law of reciprocity, which manipulators exploit to create a sense of obligation, to the law of scarcity, used to create urgency and fear of missing out. There's the law of authority, manipulated to command respect and obedience, and the law of consistency, used to trap victims in a cycle of manipulation. The first law of manipulation revolves around deception. Manipulators often employ lies or hide their true intentions to gain an advantage. This could be as simple as a friend saying they forgot their wallet to avoid paying for a meal, or as complex as a colleague concealing their ambition to get promoted over you. In both scenarios, the manipulator isn't being honest about their true intentions, using deceit as a tool to advance their own interests. Consider a chess player, concealing a checkmate strategy while making seemingly harmless moves. Similarly, manipulators may disguise their intentions under the cloak of kindness, generosity, or even vulnerability. However, their ultimate goal remains the same: to control the narrative and steer the situation towards a desired outcome. Understanding this, we become equipped to identify such tactics. It's about reading between the lines, discerning the hidden motives beneath the surface. Being aware of this tactic is the first step in resisting manipulation. Continuing from the first law, let's delve into the sixth principle of manipulation: exploitation of trust. A manipulator will often establish trust with their target before they begin their manipulation tactics. This could be a friend who always seems to be there for you, or a colleague who constantly offers to help. But once trust is established, the manipulator might exploit it for their own gain. They might use the established trust to gain access to sensitive information, manipulate decisions, or even turn you against others. It's like a Trojan horse, a friendly exterior concealing harmful intentions. The key here is to be cautious and to remember that trust should be mutual, not one-sided. Moving on to the second part of this scene, we have emotional blackmail. This is a potent tool in a manipulator's arsenal. Emotional blackmail involves the manipulator playing on their target's feelings of fear, obligation, and guilt, often referred to as the fog tactic. They might use threats, guilt trips, or even flattery to make their target feel obligated to comply with their wishes. For instance, a manipulator might say, "After all I've done for you, you owe me this." Or they could use fear, suggesting that not doing what they want will lead to dire consequences. This tactic can be very effective as it exploits our natural desire to avoid conflict and maintain harmony. Recognizing emotional blackmail when it occurs is the first step in resisting this form of manipulation. We've explored how manipulators exploit trust and use emotional blackmail. Now let's delve into another common tool in the manipulator's arsenal: deception. Deception and manipulation can manifest in countless ways, from subtle avoidance to sophisticated concealment of intentions. For our first example, consider a friend who always seems to forget their wallet when you're out for a meal together. They might make excuses or even act surprised when the bill comes, leaving you to foot the bill. This is a form of evasion, a subtle type of deception where the manipulator avoids responsibility or commitment. It's a small act, but over time, it can lead to significant imbalance in relationships. On the other hand, deception can also take a more complex form. Picture a colleague who always seems supportive and team-oriented, But behind the scenes, they're working to advance their own interests. They may downplay their ambitions, perhaps even pretending to be less competent or driven than they truly are. This conceals their true intentions, allowing them to fly under the radar while they maneuver themselves into positions of advantage. This type of deception is often hard to detect as it's wrapped in layers of pretense and feigned humility. But by being aware of these forms of deception, we can better protect ourselves from falling into the manipulator's trap. Remember, it's not about living in constant suspicion, but about being aware and alert to the potential for manipulation. Masking manipulation with kindness, generosity, or vulnerability. Manipulators are not always mean or aggressive. In fact, they can often appear to be the most caring, generous, or vulnerable individuals. This is a cunning way of hiding their true intentions, and it can be one of the most difficult forms of manipulation to spot. Let's explore how this works. First, consider the manipulator who uses kindness as a disguise. They may shower you with compliments, do you favors, or make you feel special. But their ultimate aim is not to make you feel good, it's to make you feel indebted. This way, when they ask something of you, you're more likely to comply out of a sense of obligation. Next, there's the manipulator who uses generosity. They might offer gifts, lend money, or provide help when you need it, but these acts of generosity often come with strings attached. They use their generosity as a bargaining chip, expecting something in return when the time is right. Finally, we have the manipulator who plays the victim or feigns vulnerability. This is a powerful manipulation tactic because it appeals to our natural instinct to help and protect others. The manipulator might share a sad story, express feelings of inadequacy, or highlight their struggles, all to gain your sympathy and support. But once they have it, they use it to their advantage, turning the tables to manipulate and control you. So remember, not all manipulators are overtly malicious. Some hide their intentions behind a facade of kindness, generosity, or vulnerability. Let's dive into the second law of manipulation, attention-seeking. This is a classic move in a manipulator's playbook. They have a knack for making themselves the center of attention, often resorting to dramatic displays to command the spotlight. For instance, think of a colleague who consistently turns team meetings into their personal stage, sharing elaborate stories that have little to do with the agenda at hand. Their aim is to monopolize the conversation, shifting focus away from others and onto themselves. Next, we have the third law, excessive emotionality. Manipulators can be masters of emotional theatrics, using heightened emotions as a tool to control and influence others. They might express extreme joy, anger, sadness, or fear, creating an intense emotional environment. This often leaves the people around them feeling off balance and more susceptible to manipulation. Think of a friend who always has an emotional crisis, steering every conversation back to their latest saga and leaving no room for your own thoughts or feelings. Finally, we come to the fourth law, playing the victim. This tactic involves manipulators presenting themselves as the victim, regardless of the situation. They do this to elicit sympathy and divert blame. For example, consider a roommate who consistently neglects their chores but reacts with hurt and indignation when you bring up the issue. They might claim they're too overwhelmed with other problems, making you the bad guy for adding to their woes. This tactic can leave you second-guessing your actions and feeling guilty for standing up for yourself. These three laws, attention-seeking, excessive emotionality, and playing the victim, are all common strategies in the manipulator's arsenal. They are designed to shift power dynamics, control conversations, and keep others off kilter. Moving on, let's delve into the next set of tactics used by manipulators. We start with the fifth law, asserting dominance. Manipulators often try to establish themselves as the authority in any situation. They might use their seniority, knowledge, or even manipulative tactics to make others feel inferior. For example, consider a boss who always has the final say, no matter how much input the team provides. This tactic is designed to make you feel powerless and more likely to comply with their demands. Next, we have the sixth law, twisting facts. Manipulators are masters at bending the truth to suit their needs. They can take a piece of factual information and twist it in such a way that it supports their narrative. This tactic is often used to confuse and mislead people, making it harder for them to challenge the manipulator's actions or intentions. Finally, we arrive at the seventh law, playing the martyr. This is when manipulators portray themselves as the selfless ones, the ones who always make sacrifices for others. They use this tactic to gain sympathy and admiration, thereby increasing their influence over others. For instance, think of a friend who constantly reminds you of the sacrifices they've made for you, making you feel indebted to them. Understanding these tactics can help us recognize when we're being manipulated and give us the tools to resist such manipulation. By staying aware and vigilant, we can protect ourselves from the subtle yet powerful tactics of psychological manipulation. Let's now turn to the 8th law of manipulation, excessive emotionality. This is a powerful tool in a manipulator's arsenal. They use heightened emotional responses to control and influence others. This can be anything from excessive anger, sadness, or even joy, all designed to throw you off balance. For example, consider a partner who suddenly bursts into tears during a disagreement. Your immediate response might be to comfort them, drop the argument, and inadvertently let them have their way. Alternatively, a manipulator may use excessive joy to create a sense of obligation. Think of a friend who is excessively enthusiastic about a favor you did, making you feel like you can't refuse them next time. The key to dealing with excessive emotionality is to recognize it for what it is, a manipulation tactic. Always try to separate the emotion from the issue at hand. This is easier said than done, but with practice you can become adept at seeing through this tactic. Remember, it's okay to step back and take time to process the situation without getting swept up in the emotional current. Being aware of the 8th law of manipulation, excessive emotionality, is a crucial step in protecting ourselves from psychological manipulation. Now let's delve into one of the most potent tactics in a manipulator's repertoire, playing the victim. This is a classic move that's often hard to spot until you're deep into the manipulation game. The manipulator will present themselves as the victim, often of circumstances beyond their control, to elicit sympathy and divert blame. They use this tactic to manipulate your emotions, making you feel guilty or sorry for them. Picture this. A friend always seems to have a hard luck story, making you feel obligated to help them out. Or a colleague who, when faced with criticism, immediately deflects and points to hardships they're facing, making it hard for you to continue your critique without seeming insensitive. But here's what you need to remember. While it's human nature to empathize, it's essential to recognize when someone is using their victim status as a manipulation tactic. It's okay to offer sympathy, but don't let it cloud your judgment or force you into decisions you're uncomfortable with. Remember, a true victim seeks help and tries to improve their situation, while a manipulative victim often uses their status to control and take advantage of others. Being aware of this tactic is a critical step in protecting yourself from psychological manipulation. Let's now delve deeper into the dynamics of the manipulation laws we just discussed. The 5th law, obsessing over praise, is all about control. When someone is constantly seeking validation, they're not just looking for a confidence boost. They're subtly asserting their dominance, making you feel that your role is to support and validate them. This power dynamic can be hard to spot, but once you're aware of it, you'll see it everywhere. On the other hand, the 6th law, notifying you of subordination and dependence, is a more overt display of control. Here, the manipulator is clearly establishing their dominance, making you feel that you need them. They may use their supposed expertise or knowledge as a tool to keep you in check. Remember, a healthy relationship, whether personal or professional, should be based on mutual respect and equality. Finally, the 7th law, selective honesty, is perhaps the most insidious. Here, the manipulator is using your trust against you. They're giving you just enough truth to make you feel comfortable, while withholding crucial information or twisting facts to suit their narrative. This tactic can be incredibly damaging, as it can lead to a deep sense of betrayal when the truth finally comes out. Moving on, let's examine the next 3 laws. The 8th law of manipulation, pretending to be friends. Manipulators will often try to win you over by pretending to be your friend. They'll shower you with kindness, compliments, and seemingly genuine affection. However, this is all just a ruse to gain your trust and make you more susceptible to their manipulative tactics. Always remember, true friends will respect your boundaries and won't use your relationship as a tool for personal gain. Next, we have the 9th law, non-compliance. This refers to the manipulator's tendency to resist or ignore requests, rules, or expectations. They might make excuses, procrastinate, or simply refuse to do what is asked of them. This form of manipulation is designed to frustrate and wear you down, making you more likely to give in to their demands. Watch out for those who consistently disregard your wishes or fail to meet their commitments. Lastly, we delve into the 10th law, pretending to be stupid. This might seem counterintuitive, but manipulators often play dumb to avoid responsibility or to extract more information from you. By acting ignorant or confused, they can avoid answering difficult questions or make you feel obligated to help them. They might also use this tactic to make you underestimate them, giving them the upper hand. Don't be fooled by this act. If someone consistently seems to misunderstand or forget important details, they might be playing a cunning game. Finally, let's look at the last 3 laws. Law 11, accusing others, is a common tactic used by manipulators. Accusations are often used to divert attention from the manipulator's own actions or to make you feel defensive. A manipulator might accuse you of not caring about them when you ask a simple question, or they might accuse you of being selfish when you set boundaries. Remember, these accusations often have more to do with the manipulator than with you. Law 12, exaggeration in praise and flattery, is another deceptive tactic. Flattery can make us feel good, and it's natural to be drawn to people who compliment us. However, manipulators often use excessive praise to win our trust or to make us reliant on their approval. They might compliment your intelligence, your appearance, or your kindness in an over-the-top way. It's important to be wary of flattery that feels too good to be true, because it often is. The 13th and final law, control your decisions, is arguably the most insidious. Manipulators often try to control others' decisions, either directly or indirectly. They might make you feel guilty for making a decision they don't agree with, or they might make you feel incapable of making decisions without their input. Over time, this can erode your confidence and make you reliant on the manipulator. It's crucial to remember that you have the right to make your own decisions and that you are capable of doing so. By understanding these tactics, we can better resist manipulation and maintain our autonomy. It's important to remember that manipulation is about power and control, and that everyone has the right to be treated with respect and kindness. If you suspect that you're being manipulated, trust your instincts and seek support. You are not alone, and there are resources available to help. As we've uncovered the deceptive tactics and laws of manipulation, it's equally important to understand the tools and techniques we can use to protect ourselves from these malicious games. Firstly, always trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Manipulators often rely on their victims doubting themselves. By trusting your instincts, you can counteract this tactic. Secondly, set and enforce boundaries. Manipulators frequently push boundaries to gain control. By setting and maintaining your boundaries, you show them that their tactics aren't working. Thirdly, seek external perspectives. Manipulators thrive in isolation, where they can control the narrative. By seeking advice from trusted friends, family, or professionals, you can gain a clearer picture of the situation. Fourthly, practice self-care. Dealing with manipulation can be emotionally draining. By taking care of your physical and mental health, you can ensure that you're in the best possible position to resist manipulation. Lastly, remember that it's okay to walk away. If a relationship or situation is causing you harm, you have the right to remove yourself. You are not obligated to stay in a harmful situation. By employing these strategies, we can not only protect ourselves from manipulation, but also promote healthier and more respectful interactions. Remember, you have the power to resist manipulation and maintain control over your own life. We've covered a lot of ground today. From recognizing the subtle signs of lying to understanding the intricacies of excessive emotionality, we've traversed the 13 laws of manipulation. We've learned how to discern the pretense of friendship, the art of non-compliance, and the cunning use of flattery. These laws are your compass in the labyrinth of human interaction. With this knowledge, you are now better equipped to navigate the complexities of human interaction. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding these laws can help you avoid falling into manipulation traps. Finally, we'll provide strategies to guard against this tactic, such as maintaining a healthy skepticism, setting personal boundaries, and valuing self-worth over external validation. Stay with us as we reveal the hidden dangers behind sweet words and charming compliments.